I have Sami Callihan with me. We're promoting a night at the Moxberry. Wrestling Revolver has an event. As we're recording, it's Wednesday, so tomorrow night, Thursday, you guys can check it out live on Fight at 8 p.m. We'll talk about that. Some Impact Wrestling stuff going on. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. As you can see, I'm driving right now. The death machine is always busy. It's the day before a show day at the Wrestling Revolver, and I got 1,000 things to do, but I would be suppressed if I didn't come on here and do this interview to promote the show.
Hands-free driving. He's focused on the road. He's focused on the show.
This is called professionalism. Hands-free, two hands on the steering wheel, 10 and 2, whichever it is, however you prefer to drive. We are doing good.
Multitasking. So this event is Wrestling Revolver. It's your company, your baby. Jon Moxley has some involvement. There's a bunch of names on this poster, but I think there's like at least 30 people I counted. I don't see you on there.
See, here's the thing with my company. Do I wrestle for the Wrestling Revolver every once in a while? Sure. But I don't use my company like a lot of other independent wrestling promoters to put myself over. I use my promotion to build other people and to build good stories. If I don't fit into that at the time, like, so be it. Like, there's so many things I do at a show, from running Gorilla to running Qs to running everything else. Do I make appearances on every show? Absolutely. But I do not think I need to wrestle on every show when, like, 100% my number one priority is making other people and getting other people over.
So, I mean,
I'm already over, brother. I don't need any more help.
So would you consider yourself a commissioner figure, jack of all trades? Like, how does it work? Can we see you pop up on the show somehow? Maybe just not a formal match?
I think it's one of those things that I think our entire fan base and anyone that tunes in on Fight TV knows is my company. It's pretty common knowledge that the Wrestling Revolver has been my baby since 2016 when I left WWE and started the company. And it's one of those things, I might come out if something needs to be said on the mic. I'll come out and make sure the live crowd's having a great time. But it's one of those things, I enjoy the backstage aspect of professional wrestling. I enjoy that aspect just as much as I like being in the ring. And the Wrestling Revolver is one of those things, like, this is my vision of professional wrestling, and a lot of other people from my generation's vision of professional wrestling. And I think right now we do it better than 9 out of 10 independent promotions on the planet today. And I think we have better production than almost every independent company on the planet today.
Yeah, the footage that I've seen from past events is top quality. As I mentioned, there's a bunch of big names on this card. One of them I mentioned specifically was Moxley. You know him well from working together in the past. I don't remember who said this, if it was him specifically or if it was a report, and everything on the internet is true. So, but he's hosting this show. He said, or it was said, that he's doing less independent dates. He'll do them when he feels up to it. So is there sort of like a protocol that has to be met where you're like, oh, hey, Jon, do you want to get on the show? Or does he reach out to you? Like, how does that all work out from your end as a promoter in this case?
Well, I think it helps that I've known Mox for almost 20 years at this point. We're extremely good friends. And we both kind of have the same vision of professional wrestling. With Moxley, I fell into a really good spot that he's 9 out of 10 times always going to be there helping out at Wrestling Revolver shows, either wrestling, doing something, because he believes in the vision as much as I do. And it's one of those things that right now, I'm one of the only independent promotions on the planet. I have a great relationship with Impact Wrestling. I have a great relationship with AEW. I have a great relationship with New Japan. I have a good relationship with other Japanese wrestling companies. I have a great relationship with pretty much every major company on the planet. And we're one of the only companies in independent wrestling where you're going to be able to see stars from everywhere all around the world, including the television companies in the United States, working under one roof for one specific goal.
One of the other matches, it kind of highlights what you just said about having a good relationship with all of these companies. Alex Shelley versus Rich Swann. It's a double title match.
And it's first time ever. How are we in 2023 and that match has never happened? That blows my mind. They've been in tags, they've been in a couple multi-mans, but they've never had that one-on-one singles match until this Thursday at night at the Moxberry. And the stakes got even bigger. We just announced a working agreement with Prestige Wrestling out of the West Coast, another independent company that, in my opinion, is one of the best independent companies in the country right now, doing great things. And with that working agreement, we're going to have some title defenses on multiple shows. And it starts this Thursday at the Moxberry when Alex Shelley defends not only the Revolver Remix title, but also the Prestige World Champion. And for those of you that don't know what the Revolver Remix title is, it's one of those belts, like no matter who holds it, it's going to be different because whoever is the champion picks the rule set. So Alex Shelley will be able to pick up the rule set for that match. And for example, if there was a deathmatch wrestler that had that championship, they can make every match they defended a death match. If it was a technical guy like Alex Shelley, he can make it an Iron Man match, a submission match, and any type of match he wanted to. And that's the cool thing about the Revolver Remix title.
I'll mention a couple of the other participants. I won't go match by match, but you have Steve Macklin on the card, who Impact Wrestling fans are getting to know more in the past few months. I mentioned Alex Shelley and Rich Swann. Bullet Club's on there, Billy Starks, and Speedball Mike Bailey, Wheeler Yuta. So there's a who's who of some of the up and coming names.
Evil Luna, Marina Shafir. Like, I think we have one of the best rosters in independent wrestling right now. And like, it truly is, it's not one style. You're not going to watch a Revolver show and ever get bored, because we're going to hit every element of professional wrestling. If you like the television style wrestling, we're going to hit that. If you like great production like a rock concert, we're going to hit that. If you like high flying lucha libre, we're going to hit that. If you like hardcore, we're going to hit that. Every style of professional wrestling in the Wrestling Revolver, because Wrestling Revolver is a true buffet of professional wrestling.
If you want a good look at not only what's going on, what we're talking about, talent and match wise, but also you mentioned production quality, there's a really cool Control Center video with Bork Torkelson on the Wrestling Revolver Twitter account. Top-notch stuff. It rivals some of the stuff you see on national TV. That runs down the whole card. So, again.
And it's also one of those things, like, I put just as much work into production as I do in building a card, because there's a certain way I want our product to look. And it's not like I just built a production team that is from local people. I assembled a group of people that I feel are the best at their job from all around the country in independent wrestling, running the shows and doing the directing and live switching editing as I shoot wrestling out of Texas. We're awesome. I have a great group of cameramen, and I have one of my main producers of the Wrestling Revolver is an account. You can check him out on Twitter, Instagram at Tusslemania. He's the one that shoots a lot of the footage that you'll see in our video packages. And in my opinion, he's one of the best guys going with how he shoots professional wrestling. And that's why Wrestling Revolver looks the way it does right
now. Check it out Thursday. Live on Fight, 8 p.m., a night at the Moxberry. You can check out Wrestling Revolver. This has been fun talking about that event so far, but I do want to, before we leave each other, talk about Impact Wrestling. That's, where you're a mainstay. Maybe not as much fun lately for you. Joining the design, or maybe they're recruiting you, depending on.
I got a bald head for a reason now.
Depending on who asks, you're either following them, they recruited you, but you shaved your head, you looked reluctant. But now that it's it's not fresh anymore, how's it being a little aerodynamically improved?
I feel like I'm way quicker now. I feel like if I just took my pants off more often, I'd be way quicker and more aerodynamic to do things. And for those of you who don't know, great reference from an awesome movie called Orange County. But it's one of those things that Impact Wrestling, I've pretty much done everything there is to do in Impact Wrestling, and I love to be able to tell different types of stories. And I think right now with this story, stay tuned, because you guys are all in for a crazy ride, and we've just touched the surface of what this entire thing will be.
Hey, Sean, we're the same height. That's weird.
You get it.
I love that movie. I love it. Tom
Hanks is not getting enough credit for how good he is with comedic timing and things.
I was gonna say something about your hat fitting better, and then you said that, and I was gonna be like, "Oh, do the hat like." Boop.
Yo, my hats do fit better. So when I had all that hair, I'm not even gonna lie, I had to wear a hat on the last little notch just to get it to fit. But now I can go 3, sometimes 4 notches in. It's a great thing because I'm a hat wearer. You'll never not see me with a hat in everyday life. So as far as that, as far as the hair goes, it's a lot less to deal with. I can just wake up in the morning, put a hat on, and not have to deal with the bullshit.
All right, so we have a net positive, even though you looked a little reluctant at first. You're enjoying it now. So
I've grown into it. I've grown into it.
I know you guys are headed out to Vegas soon. So what's next on that front? How many steps are involved in joining the design, or what should fans look forward to? Because this is a story that is really unfolding week by week. There's layers to it. It's not just he turned heel or he joined the bad guys. It's an interesting story that if you take into account Eric Young was part of it too. He got shanked. He's out. So
when you really look at it, like, these guys should honestly be thanking me, because if I wouldn't have softened up Eric Young and helped them take him out, I don't think there would be a design. It might still be Violent by Design. It might still be the Eric Young show. And now Diener gets a chance to show the world exactly what he's capable of. To be honest, like, from a outlook in, I think Diener is an extremely underrated performer in professional wrestling. To be able to go from what he did in the early 2000s, being the white trash redneck character, to being what he is now, I don't think people give him enough credit for how good he really is. And I really think over the next couple months, more and more and more people are going to be jumping on that Diener bandwagon. Not just only Diener, that entire crew. You look at Angels, who's a guy that recently came to Impact Wrestling. He's a young guy. He has a ton of potential, and the sky's the limit for him. Then you have a guy like Khan, who's one of the biggest human beings I've ever been around in my life. People forget at one point in his career, he was in one of the most over acts in professional wrestling. The Ascension at one point was renowned. Like, everyone loved the Ascension. And because certain things happen, you never know what's going to happen in the world of professional wrestling. It might have lost some of his luster. And I'm for one happy to have him in Impact Wrestling, so the world can see what he's capable of as well. And that's not just me putting over Impact Wrestling. I don't say stuff unless I believe it. That's stuff I truly believe. I think Angels is a guy, like, I would not be surprised if Angels is a guy that would be holding the X Division Championship in the very near future. He's that talented.
Yeah. In the case, all 3 of them have a lot to offer. Real quick, Khan, it was great seeing him come back to TV, because I talked to him and Victor. I don't remember how long ago it was, but it was, they were missing from TV. So it's good to see at least him back with this lineup. And then in the case of Angels,
and he looks great right now. He's leaner than he's been in years. Like, looks awesome.
And then Angels and Diener, like, both guys in their own right that you said about Diener, but I feel like they haven't really gotten the right shot yet. This could be it for them. Diener, underrated. Like you said, he did a comedy gimmick a while ago, and maybe people haven't come back around on him, but he's really talented. If anybody doesn't know, like, he does motivational speaking when he's not on TV. So, not to pull the curtain back too much, but he's doing really good in that case. And, now he's getting a chance with the spotlight to run with the ball.
Absolutely. And I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. Like, Diener is one of those guys, being in the ring with him, fighting with him, being beside him with what we're doing currently is something like, even I knew how good he was, but I don't think I knew how good he was until I was in the ring with him. Like, he truly is good. He understands professional wrestling. He has an outlook on the world that I think a lot of people would agree with if they only give it the time to listen.
I usually close with a watch list. So I'll go with this one. You've been back for a few months now, obviously coming back off of a serious injury. Do you have a match that you feel best represents that sort of new Sami Callihan that, you said was coming back, better, stronger, faster than ever, more evolved? I know when you were training and coming back, you did a couple appearances on Busted Open Radio and talked about what you saw for yourself. So is there a match that you've had yet that maybe demonstrates that you're close to that point, or maybe you
I
are?
think it's one of those things. I think just now I'm really biting my teeth in and digging my feet in and really feeling like Sami Callihan once again and really starting to hit my full swing. But one of my favorite matches since coming back was against Steve Macklin in Chicago. It was the Impact Wrestling special. It was a bout that went all over the building. It spanned over 3 different matches throughout the show. And that's probably one of my favorite things I've done at Impact Wrestling this year. And it's one of the reasons that Steve Macklin is one of the top guys in the Wrestling Revolver. I think since him leaving the company that he was with for years and now getting a chance to experiment and be the person he wants to be, I think over the last year, he's the most improved wrestler on the planet. And I think over the next 2 or 3 years, he's going to be looked at as one of the top guys in the entire business. I truly believe that.
Yeah, I think he's finding his sweet spot. That match you mentioned was the 3-way, right?
No, this was the singles.
You're talking about the singles match. Okay, so
yeah,
there's
Chicago was on a special. It would have been in July or it was either July or August. I can't remember what special it was on.
Was it Emergence?
I don't know. It was Emergence. Insurgents or Emergence. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a good example. And then more recently, he had the match with Rich Swann at Hard to Kill. I think
watching stuff he's been doing in Wrestling Revolver. He's been absolutely killing it. He just became our world champion this past December. And if you look back in November, we had a show called Revolver. Smoke him if you got him. You can watch it on Fight. You can watch it on Fight Plus. He had a 4-way with Vance Warner, Steve Manders, and Crash Jackson. That was one of my favorite matches of the year last year.
All right. So we got 2 watch lists. We got your matches. We got Steve Macklin's. Good stuff. You can go check it out on Fight. Go check out Wrestling Revolver YouTube. But a night at the Moxberry is what we were here for. Tomorrow night, you can watch it live on Fight. Sami, thanks for your time as always. And
thank you. Anytime, man.
Best of luck. I think we timed this perfectly. It looks like you're arrived at your destination.
My first of many destinations on the day.
All right. Best of luck. I hope everything goes well, and I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. You too. Thank you.